On the news, Imo North lawmaker Ben Uwajumogu dies at 51. President Muhammadu Buhari swears in 9 new permanent secretaries. And 14 killed as Boko Haram attack fishing community in Niger State. Many thanks for joining us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. We begin with the sad demise of lawmaker representing Imo North Senatorial District at the National Assembly, Senator Ben Uwajumogu. Uwajumogu died on Wednesday morning in Abuja, the nation's capital, at the age of 51. News of his death was confirmed by Senator Rochas Okorocha. The lawmaker was said to have slumped in the toilet while taking his bath and was rushed to a private hospital in Abuja, where he died. Prior to his death at 51, the senator was a member of the ruling All Progressives Congress. The Nigerian Senate has confirmed the appointment of the newly reconstituted board of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS. President Muhammadu Buhari had, in a letter dated December 9th, asked the Senate to confirm the appointment of Muhammadu Nami as the executive chairman of the FIRS. The confirmation followed the consideration and approval of the report of the Senate Committee on Finance presented at plenary by the panel chairman, Senator Solomon Adiola. The FIRS board was dissolved in 2012, and the executive chairman appointed since then have been running the agency without a board. Also, the Red Chamber confirmed the appointment of Edward Adamu as the new chairman of the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON. The confirmation followed the consideration of the report of its Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions presented by the chairman, Senator Uba Sani. President Muhammadu Buhari has sworn in 9 permanent secretaries to their ministries. One of them is Evelyn Ngige, wife of the Minister of Labour and Employment. The new permanent secretaries were appointed from across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Others include Hassan Musa, Aliyu Ahmed, Olushola Idowu, David Andrew, Umar Tijani, Nasir Gwazo, Nebelosa Anako, and Tope Fashedini. The new permanent secretaries have been charged to put national interests while executing their duties. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed a 10.6 trillion naira budget ahead of the year 2020. The National Assembly had on December 5th, 2019, passed the budget estimates presented by the President on October 8th, 2019. The National Assembly increased the budget estimates from 10.33 trillion to 10.50 trillion naira. Deshawa Udushoga now reports.
For the first time in 20 years, Nigeria's budget cycle has been restored to a predictable January to December fiscal year, making it the 4th time and the earliest that the federal budget was passed before the end of the previous year. This is coming after President Muhammadu Buhari appended his signature to the 2020 budget. The president, who commended the patriotic zeal of the National Assembly, assured that the finance bill will be passed in due time.
The passage of the finance bill, which I am told will be done in the coming days, will also be a landmark achievement worthy of recognition, being the first time this has been done in the last 20 years. We look forward to receiving this bill shortly for presidential assent.
President Buhari also expressed optimism that with the current state of global oil market and the strategic approach of his administration to boost Nigeria's revenue, the 2020 budget will be financed with ease.
Being a deficit budget, an appropriate 20 to 22 borrowing plan will be forwarded to the National Assembly in due course. Mr. Senate President, Right Honorable Speaker, for this submission, I will once again count on your usual cooperation and support by ensuring quick consideration and approval of the plan.
The signing of the budget was witnessed by leaders of the National Assembly. Both men praised the efforts of the president while assuring that they would respectively task committees of the upper and lower chamber to ensure proper implementation of the 2020 budget.
Initially, it looked like it was impossible. In fact, many people didn't even believe that it would be possible to work on this budget and produce it before the end of December or before we'll go on Christmas. But members of the National Assembly, distinguished senators and very honored members of the House of Representatives decided consciously and patriotically to work on the budget day and night. In fact, National Assembly premises became a beehive of activities more than anywhere else in Abuja, day and night, and we were able to, by the grace of God.
We have committees in place in both houses. That's the work of the committees. The committees, both in the Senate and the House, were carefully selected. The chairman were carefully selected. The membership was carefully selected. And I believe, there's a lot of responsibility on us to monitor the budget, and we will do that.
A breakdown of the budget indicates that 560.4 billion naira has been set aside for statutory transfers, while 2.7 trillion naira is for debt servicing. Over 4.8 trillion naira was earmarked for recurrent expenditure, while capital expenditure will go up 2.4 trillion naira. The new budget will, however, take effect from January 1st, 2020. Adeshewa Dushoga, TV360, Abuja.
The Supreme Court has upheld the governorship election victory of Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State, and Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State. Makinde had polled 515,621 votes, defeating his closest rival, Adebayo Adelabu of the All Progressives Congress, who polled 357,982 votes. The APC's governorship candidates then approached the Election Petition Tribunal and the Appeal Court seeking a nullification of the exercise. But in a ruling on Wednesday, the 7-man panel of the Supreme Court upheld Makinde as the authentic winner of the Oyo State governorship election in the March 9 polls. In Kaduna, Issa Ashiru, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, had approached the Supreme Court challenging the election victory of Nasir El-Rufai, but in a unanimous judgment delivered by Justice Senta Sungweze, the appeal filed by Ashiru was dismissed for lacking in merit. And in Nasarawa State, the Supreme Court has upheld the election of Governor Abdullahi Sule, dismissing the appeal filed by David Ombagodu and the People's Democratic Party, which challenged Sule's victory at the March 9 governorship election. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Buratai, has commissioned a new building for the Nigerian Army Resource Center. The Army Chief says the center is a service think tank with a national and global outlook that will provide intellectual research, promote workshops, and solutions to the Nigerian Army. Buratai added that the Army is in collaboration with internationally recognized institutions to provide research support and intellectual guidance as needed by the Nigerian Army Resource Center.
We had a joint workshop and had a publication that was jointly produced by the Center and the Institute of India, United Services Institute. The DG also mentioned the Harvard Kennedy School in the United States. This is a well-recognized institution globally, just like the other institutions. We are also working with the Royal United Services Institute of London, which we are working together to get all the necessary support and the intellectual guidance, as well as to carry out the research that are needed. In this regard, you agree with me that although it is a service-based research center, but it has both national and global outlook.
The federal government, in collaboration with the Lagos State government, has organized a roundtable meeting with community leaders to ensure free flow of communication between the government and the people. The meeting is an avenue for stakeholders to communicate the needs of the people and come up with strategies to address the needs. Adebayo Abisola was there and now reports.
It is often said that poor communication can lead to lack of team cohesion and conflict. This is why the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration has organized this gathering of stakeholders from different sectors in the country to review and identify problems in the society, while also suggesting policies to address them. Engagement and mobilization of youths to boost the revenue was the first suggestion proposed to the government.
We have one of the highest number of youths in the entire Africa and number 2 in the world. In other words, Africa has an opportunity to rearrange herself because of the new level of youth gap that we have. I mean, if you have so much youth, it's also an opportunity or a threat.
Another challenge raised by stakeholders was the lack of trust between the people and the government.
And in Nigeria, one of the challenges we've had as a nation that has held us back is this trust deficit. Okay? When citizens can't trust the government, then there's a challenge. There's a need for the government to galvanize the people, to drive the vision of the government, to deliver the goods it has promised.
Other speakers at the event stressed that effective communication between leaders and the masses is the key to good governance.
There must be what we call state or government capability. In public relations, we don't just communicate. It's about programs and communications. And so, to enhance that way power development, the first thing to do is to look at what programs speak to the needs of the people. And in development communication, you don't design programs outside of the people.
The existing communication between the government and the citizen is uncoordinated, is disjointed, is rather more of a reactive and defensive mechanism, which we need to look into. And they're disconnected. There's a lot of disconnect. I'm passionate about the young ones, which are more than 60 million of the existing population. We need to carry them along.
Taking note of the suggestions is Special Assistant to the President on Policy Development and Analysis, who assures stakeholders that topics and decisions reached here will be effectively communicated to the presidency and would be effectively implemented.
What are the gaps the government have? What are the challenges that we used to hear from people right, left, and center is about communication. So we said, look, this is very important. We now, okay, let's take this thing to where the knowledge, the communication knowledge, the communication hub is, and that's Lagos. We decided to come here to engage stakeholders in this area so that they can advise us, and then we equally advise, take their stakeholders, engage them, and see where the gaps exist in the communication or in governance communication.
The essence of governance is to meet the needs of the people. This is the second edition of the Policy Roundtable, where stakeholders identify the needs of the people and how the government can go about implementing effective policies to enhance the development of the nation. Abisola Adebayo, TV360, Lagos.
You're still watching News Now on TV360 Nigeria. We'll be right back with more stories.
Give him his shoes somewhere here, his phone and everything.
Don't do like that again. No.
Thank you. So, bye-bye. Hey, Oga, where do you think you are going?
Oh, you never shake body.
Eh?
You never shake body.
Shake body? See?
Huh? You never shake body.
Eh? Shake body. I don't get congo for my body.
You go take for here.
Sit down there. How come, man? What's this man still doing here? They say I should shake body. I shake body, I shake body. They say I should, and I say I don't get color. You are asking for money. Sorry, man. Asking for money to bail a suspect is an act of corruption. Both of you will be punished. Corruption is not allowed within the force. Remember,
police is your friend. Giving and taking bribe is wrong.
Corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
You're welcome back. We're now joined by Fidelia Aguncha for the latest business stories.
Thank you very much, Annetta. The total global debt rose by 3 trillion naira to 188 trillion naira at the end of 2018 as Nigeria, China, and other countries increased their borrowings. According to data from the Debt Management Office, Nigeria's total public debt, which stood at 21.73 trillion naira as of December 31st, 2017, rose to 24.39 trillion at the end of 2018. It increased to 25.7 trillion naira as of June 30th, 2019. The IMF in its latest report said a new update of its global debt database showed that the global average debt to GDP ratio edged up to 226% in 2018, which is 1.5% above the previous years. The Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA, has expressed support for a bill before the Senate proposing that unemployed youth in the country receive stipends from the government until they are able to get any kind of employment. Director General of NECA, Timothy Olawale, lauded the action of the Senate, stating that the implementation might increase the disposable income of unemployed youths and stimulate consumption. The NECA boss averred that one critical success factor is the availability of accurate data, adding that it is important to know the number of Nigerians that are actually unemployed to forestall the program becoming another scheme bedeviled with patronage. Oil prices fell on Wednesday after U.S. industry data showed a surprise build in crude inventories, but expectations for firmer demand next year prevented a bigger fall in prices. The decline followed a gain of more than 1% in the previous session as the Phase 1 U.S.-China trade deal announced last week eased pressure on the oil benchmarks. Prior to the deal, oil markets were hampered by worries over the economic impact of the trade dispute between the world's two biggest oil consumers. Brent crude futures dropped 33 cents to $65.77 a barrel on Wednesday, while U.S. crude futures fell 43 cents to $60.51 a barrel. Up next is a review of activities on the stock market. After this break, stay with us. Following an encouraging report from the Insurance, Oil and Gas and Industrial Goods Index, sell pressure eased a little at the Nigeria equities market. And this chart right here better explains it. On Tuesday, over 330 million shares valued at 4.7 billion naira were transacted in 3,500 and 358 deals, pushing the market value lower by 0.13%. But today we can see that the number of shares transacted on the floor of the market dropped by about 100 million in volume and over 1 billion naira in value when compared to the previous session, signaling a drop in the activities of bargain hunters. Now, this drop helped the market record its second gain for the week, which is a 0.02% rise in key indices. Well, let's now see the stocks contributing to this uptrend. Well, right here we can see Stanbic IBTC leading the pack of 18 gainers with a 0.9 kobo swell in its value, and this is despite the banking sector closing as the worst performing index today. It was, however, a great day for the Consumer Goods Index, which closed as the second best performing sector today. So it's not surprising that we are seeing the likes of Cadbury Nigeria PLC on this chart and Okomu Oil as well. Union Bank of Nigeria Holding is taking up the fourth spot on the gainers chart, closing with a difference of 3 kobo in value. Well, to the negative territory now, we can see that UP Credit right here is still taking hold of the losers chart just like it did yesterday. It's leading the pack of 18 gainers today, while Boko is right here on the second spot of the losers chart. Zenith Bank and UBA are also on the losers chart, taking up the massive hit by the sector with a downtrend we can see on the market today. Well, in summary, or actually to the foreign scene, FTSE and Dow are gaining, unlike Nikkei, which you can see right here, closing in the negative territory by 0.55% in value. And that is from the world of business. It's back to Vanetta.
Thanks for the update, Fidelia. Moving on now, 14 people have been killed with 13 missing after Boko Haram jihadists attacked a fishing village in western Chad. The Tuesday attack happened near the village of Kaiga on the shores of Lake Chad, which is about 60 kilometers from the border with northeast Nigeria. While security sources placed a death toll at 13 killed, the region's governor, Noki Chafadin, gave a toll of at least 9 dead. He said the attack had taken place in a red zone where fishing is forbidden. Boko Haram launched its armed attack and insurgency against northeast Nigeria, and the spread of violence to Chad, Cameroon and Niger has prompted the formation of a regional military coalition to fight the jihadists. Real Madrid will take on Barcelona in El Clasico this evening, where both teams will tussle for top spot in La Liga. The game is set to kick off at 8 p.m. West African time in Camp Nou, home to Barcelona in Spain. The game was initially meant to be played way back in October, but was postponed due to protests for Catalan independence. Both teams will travel to the Clasico from the same hotel 2 hours before kickoff amid security concerns. Also, about 3,000 security personnel will be deployed at the stadium as there are renewed fears of unrest breaking out around Camp Nou. Today, December 18, marks the International Migrants' Day. This year's celebration seeks to change the narrative on migration under the theme "We Live Together." The aim is to promote social cohesion in millions of communities around the globe. This next report highlights some of the developments in migration over the past 1 year.
According to the United Nations, the global number of international migrants reached an estimated 272 million in 2019, which represents about 3.5% of the world's population. More than half of these international migrants live in Europe and North America, with the United States topping the destination country. Unfortunately, the quest for many Africans to reach Europe means risking everything, including taking the irregular means, which has led to over 1,000 deaths this year on both land and the Mediterranean Sea. Stakeholders in Nigeria have been raising awareness on the well-being of African migrants in irregular situations, especially those stranded in Libya.
It's not like we have done enough awareness creating. We still need more, and more have been done as well. But for the fact that people follow or go where the news is, that is why it might seem that people are no longer interested or no longer pay attention to it. Activities are still going on in terms of returning and as well as reintegrating these returnees.
We are going to move to the local government, we're going to move to the grassroots so that everybody will be involved. Because so that we'll have a holistic approach to it and not just maybe from bottom-top approach, because crisis happens everywhere. It's not only restricted to the city. It can happen in the village, it can happen everywhere, so we need to get everybody aware and informed. Parents need to know, and they are not left out in the awareness. They need to know. So that's why first of all, if we build the capacity of the actors will now go back and now step down, both to parents, community, and at every level.
The world is an interconnected place, making at least everyone a potential migrant. It is therefore the obligation of individuals and government to protect the rights of migrants and refugees with a view of building a better future for everyone. Onyi Adekunle, TV360, Lagos.
That's it on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. Thanks for watching and bye for now.